All right. So, welcome to KEWL Radio. KEWL Radio. This is Monday Behind the Sounds. Now, behind the sounds, behind the shots, whatever you want to call it. But I've been talking about in my last few videos that I'm getting ready to take some photos. A campaign for a Greek Orthodox church. Now, they have beautiful art on the walls. Mosaic. Some canvas. Some mosaic. Very, very beautiful. So I'm going to go in and take photos. First, photos. Get rid of that rumble in the back. Of cards. Note cards. Greeting cards. Easter cards. Feast day cards. They're very big into that. So I'll take these photos of these, but I'm not going to do it like you think. Some of you might know there's 1,000 ways to take photos. 1,000. So this isn't the only way, but this is the way I'm going to do it. So this is a flashlight. A flashlight. Boom, see? Flashlight. Just a normal old flashlight. But I'll make the room completely dark. Completely dark. And then I'll use my light meter I'll turn lights on to get a gist of what I want it to be. So let's say I'll go in with all the lights on, take my light meter, take a reading of what it's like normally. Then I'll dial that into my camera. What I'll do is I'll run timed exposure. Timed exposure. Sometimes a minute, sometimes longer. Most of the time about 60 to 90 seconds. And I'll take this light right here, and I'll paint on the walls. I'll do it in sections. I'll start over here, and I'll paint. Stand from the side. You never stand directly in the same direction as the camera. From the side. So I'll paint from the side. For like a minute. And I'll do it in spots. So for a normal lighting, it's going to be a certain amount of time. When I time my lighting, while I'm in there going like this, let's say I divide it into three different sections. Because I've got the camera open for over 25 seconds, I'll stand off to the side and light it from over here for 25 seconds. Leaving the camera in the same place, I'll step to the next edge, open it up again, and paint the next section. Leaving the camera in the same place, I'll go to the next section Maybe I'll paint it this way. I'll look back at everything I've got. There might be certain stuff I want lit up more. But remember, the camera can never move. It's got to stay right there. And like the altar, I'll determine, maybe I'll go in and make the altar a little brighter. Maybe there's a Cote de Bouclion or a candle holder. I'll step in, make that a little brighter, leaving the camera in the same place, not moving at all, for all of these photos. Now I'm just telling you 3 passes. There's probably going to be 30 or 40 passes I'm going to do, so that when I merge those together, and big car, when I merge those together, well, okay, so when I merge those together, I can mask out me standing in the middle of the photo and bring them together. When I come back out, I can mask in what I light up. Light painting, I'll paint it. Now, I'll do that with this lens right here. This is my faithful lens. This is the lens I do most of my product shoots with. This is a Secor. This is a Secor. This is from my old Mamiya 6x7 camera. This, because of the old coatings, the old coatings, the old mechanism, it's fully manual. But because that lens covered a 6x7 piece of film, my Sony is a lot smaller. So even though that's a 3.5 lens, at 3.5 it's probably a 1, an F1. Opens wide open, but I'll have to stop that down to probably a 11, then put filters on it to get it to stay open longer. But remember, I'm almost in complete darkness. So, sounds weird. I know it does. Sounds very weird. But, so, when we're done with that, I will take pictures of some what they call relics. And I'll use this. This will sit on a tripod. I'll angle it up, get it lit up. This is a Sony A7R or 2. 42 megapixels. This is an old camera. A very old camera. 2015, but it still works. For the wider shots of the altar, I will use my other Sony A7 Mark II, R Mark II. This has got a Zeiss Batis 1.8 lens. Crystal clear. I'll do the same with that. Now, doing these, I do them all remote, because when I'm doing the painting pictures, the flashlight pictures, I can't touch the camera. If I touch the camera, it's going to wiggle. So I use these. Now, these are Pixels. That's Pixel Pro. These are about a $45 piece of equipment. I used to use Sony's 200. These work better, and have lasted longer. $45, I can just carry two of them around with me. What this is, I put this in the camera, plug it in. It gives me a remote to trigger it. I can be almost 150, 200 feet away from it and trigger it without a problem. I can time it and change my shutter speed from here. This is important if you're doing stuff with long exposure. You need to use something like this. My Pixel. That's what I use. Now, for the small stuff. Now, I've got a Canon one of these. This is a $200 TT Artisan tilt lens. Now, there's tilt shift lenses, and there's tilt lenses. This is a tilt lens, not a shift. What that allows me to do, when I zoom in close on a candle, a sensor, anything, and I've got this opened up pretty good. I want from the front to the back to be in focus. When a camera lens is like this, the focal plane is straight. If I can tilt it, I can alter that focal plane and make it go sideways. So in other words, when you're looking up at something, or I'm down here looking up at something, shooting it, the lines are going to converge. That's how it works. If I can tilt this up, I can bring those lines back in. What I essentially am doing, when you tilt up, that focal plane's like this. So as it goes out, if you're focusing on the bottom, the top's going to be out of focus. The object is to get it like this, but I'm tilted like this. So with the cameras here, Here, I can tilt it, and I still have the same angle. Now, you don't just tilt it, but you gotta dial it. You gotta dial it in. That's a TT Artisan cheap Chinese lens. But you know what? It works good. I've shot food with this. My goodness. Food. Scott goggles. Tennis shoes. Drinks. That's about a $250 lens. Cheap. This here, if you can find it, this lens is about $100. This piece on the bag is about $4. This lens here is about $1,900. This lens, about $1,900. I think that's what I paid for. So this is how I'm going to do this. This is how I'm going to shoot this church thing next Monday, because I don't start shooting the church for a while. I might bring in my light meters, talk to you about my light meters. But anyways, the tilt lens is for the optics. Remember, lines converge. But I'm more worried about focus. So I'm not taking a picture of a building. What I am doing is I'm controlling the focal plane. So if it's up, and I gotta tilt up, I can bring my focal plane flat. Bring the whole piece into focus. If I'm shooting food on the table and I'm wide open, about that far is going to be in focus. If I shoot a burger, that's it. About that far. Because I'm facing down, so my focal plane changes. Either the back or the front aren't going to be in focus. But if I can tilt that lens, flatten that focal plane out, that whole burger will be in focus. That whole steak will be in focus. I will have some more about this, because again, this is a talk for you to relax to. But if you want to know more about this, my Substack, I'll have a writing about it in there. If you want to know more about it, let me know. I can go in depth a little more. This here is just for ASMR talking, getting it out, letting you know I have 2 customers here. The person that wants to hear a story to fall asleep, and the one that wants to know about photography while relaxing. This is cool. This is KEWL Radio. This is Behind the Sounds. If you like what I'm doing here, buy me a coffee. But I want you to become a member. And if you want to know more about this, let me know. And look at my Substack. I'll put a write-up on it in my Substack. That's it.